Hello, everybody. Tuesday night, and the NXT just went off the air. I said the NXT. I know it's just NXT, but NXT's off the air. Here we go. 3 things I like, 3 things I didn't like about the show. A show that was all about the family, all about how the family was founded, how it became dominant, and how it fell apart, and then the match. And I loved every bit of it. I loved every bit of it. And I'll be honest, just becoming a weekly view of NXT, the stuff with the family, with Tony D'Angelo and Stax, I never really got excited about it. But I didn't fully understand and know the backstory. But I didn't think anybody looked good when I first started watching full time a couple months ago. But I understood. I got it. The power of video, the power of storytelling. And I didn't realize, I actually forgot Tony D'Angelo started all the way back at NXT 2.0. Wow. But I love all the video packs, just the setup. And I thought they had a great match too. D'Angelo, Stax, Luca, I thought they all had a great match. So those are 2 things. I lump 1 and 2 together. 2 things that I really liked. The 3rd thing I liked, Trick Williams, Joe Hendry, Mike Santana. I thought Mike Santana was pretty strong. I'm not going to say perfect. A couple times he might have stumbled. Again, we're not talking main roster, but I thought overall, very strong segment. And the best men's feud right now is over the TNA World title. So good for TNA. Really good for them. Trick Williams, of course, is in his bag. And Joe Hendry is still over it. I'm a little iffy about Joe Hendry since his loss, but can't deny, that GQ status. Joe Hendry is right there. But I thought the segment itself was really strong. I thought every single person laid out their mission statement. And you even got a good backstory of the TNA guys saying, we got to get the championship back. But Joe's saying it's going to be him. And Mike's saying it's going to be him. It's a feud that feeds families. And one of the more highly anticipated TNA Slammiversary main events. Probably since the glory days of TNA. So really good stuff. All right, things I didn't like. I thought this was a major fail to not have Blake Monroe in person on the show. I thought the hottest angle coming into NXT tonight was Blake Monroe's heel turn on Jordynne Grace. So I know they deliver like a little video package and stay close. Blake Monroe is going to have her first singles match. No, she needed to be out there talking. Now, I understand there's a part of me that's like, well, she's a heel, making you wait. But I think a lot of people tuned in to NXT to see the face-off between Jordynne Grace and Blake Monroe, or at least Blake being in the arena, and for it not to happen. You could even do something to the effect of have Blake, Jordynne Grace is going crazy, interrupting matches. Everything that Jordynne Grace did was great. Everything was great. From social media to television. But you could have Blake, because she's high class, Marilyn Monroe, full team of security. You can't even touch. And even if she was in the arena and she said like 2 or 3 lines, everything she said in that video package, and then you say, hey, you need to stay close. My first singles match is next week. I'll show you why you don't belong, why you're not in the same class as me. That's more impactful than a video package. I was truly upset in the fact that Blake Monroe didn't even make an appearance. I thought that was a major fail by NXT. Speaking of NXT, in order to follow NXT, now mind you, I love wrestling. This is why we do what we do. This is exactly why we do what we do. And over the weekend, we watch, in the span of the last 5 days, we watched SmackDown, All In, Saturday Night's Main Event, Evolution, Raw. I watched Great American Bash earlier today, and NXT. And I'm not even counting the Ring of Honor show. That's 8 shows that have taken place in the last 5 days, which is great for wrestling. That part's not a complaint. But one crossover is cool. Trick Williams, we need to promote, utilize the TNA deal, understandably. In order to follow a 2-hour episode of NXT, I need to be in tune with, let me get my list, NXT every Tuesday, TNA Wrestling every Thursday plus pay-per-view, Evolve on Tubi, and LFG on A&E. So NXT on the CW, plus Peacock with live events, TNA on Access TV, plus pay-per-view, Evolve on Tubi, and LFG on A&E. That's not counting Raw, SmackDown, AEW. Even though AEW is not their business, but that's not counting Raw and SmackDown. That's a lot of homework for a 2-hour show, dog. That's a lot of homework for a 2-hour show. And even for us, we cover it. Myself and Kyle, we cover this. I don't imagine a general fan is able to keep up with all of this stuff. That's all these crossovers, all these different characters, all these things happening on the developmental brand. I understand the TNA crossover. I get that. But now I'm expected to follow Evolve. Now I'm expected to watch LFG. I'm supposed to care about The Undertaker showing up to confront Trick Williams because his group of whatevers were disrespected. I don't know. Too much crossover. Too much. Very hard to follow. When you watch the crew, or you watch the Cavs, you watch your favorite team, you're not expected to follow every single minor league promotion, every single minor league happenings. If you're watching the Guardians, you're not expected to, you watch the Guardians. As a fan, I shouldn't have to know what's going on with the Clippers, the Akron Rubber Ducks, and the Lake County Captains to be able to follow Guardians baseball. Same here with NXT. I should be able to just watch NXT, and the storylines that's developed on NXT, I should be cool with. And then the last thing, boy, you're not a true NXT viewer until you have the following opinion. Booker T, oh boy. Not only does he add nothing to commentary, it's actually pretty distracting. It's actually, to be honest, I get pretty angry sometimes listening to Booker T on commentary because he's not paying attention to the show. I can understand Michael Cole not paying attention to the show, even though he shouldn't be calling NXT championship matches on PLEs. It should be Vic Joseph. Booker T's on the show every single week. I don't know, because I wasn't a weekly NXT viewer prior to Corey Graves joining the team, I don't know what the dynamic was fully on a week-to-week basis when it was just Vic Joseph and Booker. If Booker had to explain the storylines a bit more. But with Corey Graves on the scene and Corey doing an excellent job, it's like when Booker talks, it's, what are you talking about, right? when you're a part-time NXT viewer, you're intrigued by the Trick Williams entrance. You were intrigued by Stephanie Vaquer, the Devil's Kiss, and that stuff. That stuff is fun when it's in bits. But when it's weekly 2-hour shows, plus then the pay-per-view, the PLE, where there are no comedy bits, it's wrestling, it's all action. Booker adds nothing. And it's just like, man, can it just be Vic Joseph and Corey? And if Corey, here's the other thing. If Corey Graves moves full time to Raw, because I don't know or think McAfee's going to come back. Now we're too close to football season. I don't think McAfee's coming back. If Corey Graves is on Raw full time, then Booker has to be in tune with the stories. But man, it's a tough listen because Vic and Corey is great. But then when Booker jumps in, it's like, dude, what are you talking about? Come on. What I do know what I'm talking about, W Energy. Gotta get it. Gotta get your workout in, of course. Get some great flavors, of course. 10% off if you go to w.gg, type in the promo code SHWP10. All right. Before our main show on Friday morning, we have one more review to go. And that's the follow-up to AEW Dynamite. AEW's riding high after a very successful pay-per-view. How will they hit the reset button with their first Dynamite? Time and time and again, they've fallen flat on their faces. Can they get it right tomorrow? We react and find it. We react tomorrow.